Welcome back to the Cash Kicks channel for expert sports analysis, the best team picks, total picks, and in-depth breakdowns based on previous performances. Stay ahead of the game with our winning insights. And for even more exclusive parlay picks, check out Channel in membership. Virginia Cavaliers versus Florida State Seminoles. Virginia arrives at 20-3 overall and 9-2 in the ACC, sitting third in the conference race and chasing the top tier. Florida State stands 11-12 overall, 4-6 in league play, battling to climb out of the bottom half and stabilize its season. The numbers lean toward the Cavaliers, a projected edge of roughly 77%, but this is a road test inside Tucker Center against a team desperate to shift its trajectory. Virginia isn't just winning, it's controlling games. Florida State isn't just fighting, it's searching for consistency. That tension sets the stage. Virginia averages 82.8 points per game while allowing just 67.9. Florida State scores 80.8 and surrenders 79.6. The Cavaliers shoot 46.7% from the field, 35.7% from three, and 70.4% at the line. The Seminoles counter at 42.3% overall, 31.6% from deep, but a stronger 71.5% at the stripe. The ball moves crisply for Virginia, 17.1 assists per game, and they win the glass at 41.5 rebounds a night. They generate 6.7 steals and 5.8 blocks, while keeping turnovers to 10.6 per game. Florida State posts 14.9 assists, 36.9 rebounds, 8.3 steals, and 3.7 blocks, but gives it away 11.7 times per contest. The Cavaliers' offensive tone is set by T.J. DeRidder, pouring in 16.4 points per game on 52.7% shooting, 34.3% from three, and 69.4% at the line. He adds 6.5 rebounds and steady interior presence. Malik Thomas contributes 12.6 points with 33.6% three-point accuracy. Sam Lewis chips in 10.7, stretching the floor at 40.4% from deep. Defensively, Virginia leans on Johan Grunlow's 2.2 blocks per game and Ugonna Onyenso's 2.5 blocks to protect the rim. Chance Mallory supplies 2.0 steals, disrupting passing lanes and igniting transition. Florida State's offense runs through Robert McCray V, averaging 14.4 points and 6.2 assists on 45.0% shooting and 31.3% from three. Chauncey Wiggins adds 12.9 points and 4.0 rebounds, hitting 34.3% from distance. Laji Jones contributes 11.3 points and 5.6 rebounds. Alex Steen anchors the interior with 5.9 boards per game. On defense, Martin Somerville's 1.6 steals lead the perimeter pressure, while Jones and Steen combine for rim activity, though the Seminoles' overall defensive numbers suggest vulnerability. The primary theme is clear: Virginia's balanced efficiency and interior rim protection versus Florida State's athleticism and turnover-driven pace. Discipline against disruption. Recent form reinforces that contrast. Virginia has won 4 of its last 5, victories over Syracuse, 72-59, Pittsburgh, 67-47, Boston College, 73-66, and Notre Dame in double overtime, 100-97. The lone blemish came against North Carolina, 85-80. The Cavaliers are tightening defensively and showing poise in close finishes. Florida State has also won 4 of 5, Notre Dame, 82-79, Stanford, 88-80, California, 63-61, and Miami, 65-63. The setback came against SMU, 83-80. The Seminoles are grinding out tight games, surviving on defense and late execution, but most wins have hovered within a possession or two. The game within the game centers on DeRidder and McCray. DeRidder plays with control, efficient touches, smart positioning, and interior polish. McRae plays with rhythm and responsibility, facilitating at 6.2 assists per game while carrying the scoring load. If McRae penetrates and collapses Virginia's defense, Florida State's shooters must respond. If DeRidder establishes position early, the Cavaliers dictate tempo. Virginia's edge lies in shot quality and defensive structure. They defend without fouling, protect the rim, and rebound with authority. Florida State thrives when turnovers spark momentum and the game tilts into transition. The Seminoles must win the steal margin and create easy points. In a half-court execution, Virginia holds the advantage. Watch the boards. Virginia's plus 4.6 rebounding edge could translate into second-chance points and pace control. Watch turnovers. If Florida State pushes that number north of 14 for Virginia, the complexion shifts. Bench contributions and late-game execution matter. Virginia's composure in tight contests and their 17.1 assists per game suggest trust and spacing. Florida State's energy and defensive pressure offer volatility, the X factor that can ignite a home crowd. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Virginia winner. The Cavaliers' rebounding control, rim protection, and shooting balance should steady the road environment. Florida State will make it competitive with defensive bursts, but Virginia's discipline and half-court precision ultimately separate them in the final stretch. My second pick for this match is total over 148.5. BYU Cougars versus Baylor Bears. 7th place in the Big 12 meets 13th, but the stakes stretch well beyond the numbers in the standings. BYU enters at 17-6 overall, 5-5 in conference play. Sitting squarely in the middle of the league race, Baylor stands at 13-10 and 3-8 in the Big 12, fighting to keep postseason hopes alive and protect home floor pride. The predictive edge leans toward the Cougars at 56.8%, a narrow but meaningful nod to a team that has shown more balance across the season. In February, every possession feels heavier. For BYU, it's about separation in the conference pack. For Baylor, it's about survival. BYU brings one of the league's more efficient offensive profiles, scoring 85.8 points per game while shooting 48.2% from the field, 35.9% from three, and 73.8% at the line. They move the ball at 14.8 assists per game, control the glass with 39.5 rebounds, and generate 7.8 steals and 4.8 blocks. Baylor counters with 83.4 points per night on 48.2% shooting, 36.0% from deep, and 72.0% from the stripe. The Bears distribute slightly better at 16.0 assists and protect the rim with 4.6 blocks while collecting 38.3 rebounds and 6.7 steals. Defensively, BYU allows 73.2 points. Baylor concedes 74.9. On paper, these teams mirror each other in efficiency, but BYU's rebounding edge and defensive resistance create subtle separation. The Cougars' offensive engine is A.J. Dibansa, pouring in 24.0 points per game on 54.0% shooting and a strong 74.9% from the line. Richie Saunders adds 19.0 points with 49.1% efficiency and 38.8% from three, while Robert Wright III chips in 17.3 points and 5.0 assists. Inside, Keba Keita anchors the paint with 7.4 rebounds and 1.9 blocks per game, shooting an efficient 64.8%. Baylor answers with Cameron Carr at 19.6 points per game, shooting 52.1% overall and 41.3% from deep. Toneda Yasufo contributes 17.7 points and 2.1 steals, bringing perimeter pressure, while Obi Agbim adds 11.6 points and 3.4 assists. Center Caden Powell controls the interior with 6.8 rebounds and 1.1 blocks, converting 65.8% from the floor. This is a matchup defined by scoring balance against defensive versatility. BYU's layered attack versus Baylor's ability to disrupt passing lanes and contest at the rim. Recent form sharpens the tension. BYU has dropped 4 of its last 5, including a 77-66 loss to Houston and a narrow 99-92 defeat at Oklahoma State. They did respond with a 91-78 win over Utah, but consistency has wavered. The defense has shown cracks in losses, giving up 86, 90, and 82 points in 3 separate outings. Baylor, meanwhile, has split its last 5. A tight 76-69 loss at Iowa State was followed by convincing wins over Colorado, 86-67, and West Virginia, 63-53, before falling 97-90 at TCU. The Bears' recent wins were built on defensive control and efficient half-court execution. Momentum slightly favors Baylor at home, but neither side enters fully settled. The spotlight finds Dybantsa and Carr, 2 scorers with different rhythms. Dybantsa attacks with force and efficiency, scoring at all 3 levels while drawing contact and finishing through traffic. His 24.0% average on 54% shooting speaks to controlled aggression. Carr, more perimeter-oriented, stretches defenses with 41.3% three-point shooting and punishes closeouts with smart drives. If Dybantsa dictates tempo inside and in transition, BYU flows. If Carr catches early rhythm from deep, Baylor's spacing opens, and the Bears become difficult to contain. Around them, Wright's playmaking versus Agbim's distribution forms a secondary chess match that could tilt late possessions. Tactically, this game turns on glass control and turnover discipline. BYU's 39.5 rebounds per game and interior length give them a second-chance advantage. Baylor must counter by leveraging its 16.0 assists and perimeter shooting to stretch the floor and pull Keita away from the rim. Transition defense will matter. Both teams can score in bunches when pace accelerates. Watch the turnover margin. BYU averages 10.7 per game, Baylor 11.7. In a tight contest, one careless stretch could decide it. Off the bench, depth scoring and defensive energy, particularly from secondary wings, could shift momentum in 5-possession bursts that define conference games. In the end, efficiency and rebounding travel. BYU's slightly stronger defensive numbers and edge on the boards provide a narrow but decisive advantage. Baylor will make runs, especially if Carr finds early 3-point range. But the Cougars' balance and interior presence should steady them in the closing minutes. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is BYU winner. The difference will be second-chance opportunities and late-game composure. And in a matchup this even, that edge is enough. My second pick for this match is total over 159.5. Wisconsin Badgers versus Illinois fighting Illini. Illinois enters this showdown at 20-4 overall and 11-2 in conference play, sitting second in the Big Ten and firmly in the hunt near the top. Wisconsin arrives at 16-7, 8-4 in league action, battling to stay in the upper tier of a crowded conference race. The stakes are real: positioning, momentum, and separation as February tightens the standings. The numbers lean sharply toward the home side. Illinois carries an 84.9% projected edge into this matchup, and statistically they've earned it. But Wisconsin has the profile of a team capable of disrupting rhythm and turning this into a half-court chess match. This is not just another conference game. It's a measuring stick for both programs. Illinois averages 84.5 points per game to Wisconsin's 83.0. The Illini shoot 46% from the field and 35.7% from 3, while Wisconsin sits at 44.9% overall and 34.5% from deep. At the line, Wisconsin holds a slight advantage at 78.1% compared to Illinois' 79.1%, virtually even. The rebounding edge tilts to Illinois, 41.4 boards per game, to Wisconsin's 36.8, a gap that could define second-chance opportunities. Wisconsin distributes slightly more at 15.9 assists per game versus Illinois' 14.7. But Illinois protects the rim better with 4.8 blocks to Wisconsin's 3.2. The Badgers create more steals, 5.6 to 3.6. Offensively, Wisconsin is powered by Nick Boyd's 20.0 points per game on 47.1% shooting and 82% from the stripe, adding 3.7 assists. Nolan Winter provides interior presence with 8.8 rebounds and 14.3 points while shooting 58.5%. John Blackwell chips in 18.5 per game and shoots nearly 37% from three. Illinois counters with balance. Keaton Wagler leads with 17.8 points and 4.2 assists on 45.9% shooting and a sharp 43.3% from deep. Kylan Boswell adds 14.3 points and 3.4 assists, while David Merkovich controls the glass at 8.1 rebounds per game. Zvonimir Ivasic anchors the paint with 2.3 blocks per contest. Defensively, Illinois allows just 67.9 points per game, elite resistance, compared to Wisconsin's 75.2 allowed. That's the defining contrast. Illinois brings size, length, and interior deterrence. Wisconsin brings tempo control and perimeter shot making. It's scoring depth versus defensive structure. The central theme is clear. Can Wisconsin's shot creators overcome Illinois' rebounding muscle and rim protection? Recent form sharpens the picture. Wisconsin has won 4 of its last 5, including a 92-82 win over Ohio State and a dominant 98-71 performance against Penn State. Their lone stumble came in a 78-77 loss at Indiana, a one-possession game. They're scoring with rhythm and closing tight contests. Illinois has also won 4 of 5, with statement wins over Nebraska, 78-69, and Northwestern, 84-44. The Illini dropped a tight 85-82 game at Michigan State, but responded with poise. They've held 2 of their last 5 opponents under 70 and crushed Northwestern by 40, signaling defensive sharpness. The centerpiece duel features Boyd and Wagler, control versus precision. Boyd attacks downhill, creates contact, and lives at the line. Wagler spaces the floor and punishes help defense with elite three-point efficiency. Boyd averages 20.0 points on 47.1% shooting. Wagler counters with 17.8 on 45.9% and over 43% from deep. Both facilitate, both steady their offenses late. Around them, Winter's efficiency in the paint meets Ivasic's rim protection, a battle that could swing efficiency in the lane. Tactically, Illinois will press its size advantage. Expect them to dominate the defensive glass and slow transition chances. Their 41.4 rebounds per game against Wisconsin's 36.8 creates extra possessions, and their lower points allowed suggests disciplined half-court coverage. Wisconsin's path lies in spacing, ball movement, and forcing Illinois into perimeter switches. The Badgers generate more steals. If they can convert turnovers into quick scores, the math tightens. Bench depth and composure lean slightly toward Illinois, especially at home. Wisconsin's assist numbers show cohesion, but Illinois' interior defense and rebounding margin present a structural advantage over 40 minutes. The X factor is perimeter efficiency. If Wisconsin shoots above its 34.5% season mark from 3, the pressure shifts instantly. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Illinois winner. Illinois rebounding control and interior defense limit second chances and force contested jumpers. Over the course of the game, that defensive edge compounds. Wisconsin keeps it competitive with shot making, but Illinois' balance, rim protection, and efficiency close it out late. My second pick for this match is total over 153.5. Iowa State Cyclones versus TCU Horned Frogs. The Big 12 spotlight burns bright in Fort Worth as Iowa State, 21-2 and sitting third in the conference at 8-2, walks into Schollmeyer Arena to face a TCU team that's 14-9 overall and 4-6 in league play. For the Cyclones, this is about pressure at the top. Arizona and Houston are within reach. For the Horned Frogs, it's about survival and momentum in the middle of a crowded standings race. The numbers tilt heavily toward Iowa State. An 81.6% win projection underscores just how dominant they've been. But conference games in February don't live on projections. They live on toughness, shot-making, and late-game composure. Iowa State averages 85.9 points per game, shooting 51.3% from the field, 40.7% from three, and 68.4% at the line. They dish out 18.4 assists, grab 36.9 rebounds, force 9.1 steals, and block 2.9 shots a night. TCU scores 78.9 per game on 45.6% shooting, 33.3% from deep, and a strong 71.3% from the stripe. The Horned Frogs average 16.0 assists, 35.7 rebounds, 7.3 steals, and protect the rim with 4.8 blocks per game. The Cyclones' offense is built on balance and spacing. Milan Momcilovic leads the way at 18.7 points per game while shooting 55.0% from the field, 53.3% from three, and a blistering 90.0% at the line, elite efficiency from the wing. Joshua Jefferson adds 17.2 points and a team-high 7.7 rebounds, anchoring the interior presence. Tamin Lipsey orchestrates everything with 5.4 assists per game while contributing 13.4 points and 2.3 steals, giving Iowa State control at both ends. TCU counters with physicality and interior defense. David Punch averages 14.3 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 2.1 blocks while shooting 53.1%. Xavier Edmonds brings 12.7 points on 59.4% shooting. Brock Harding runs the offense with 6.1 assists per game, though he shoots just over 40% from the field. The Frogs protect the rim at a higher rate than Iowa State and rely on shot contests and half-court structure. The defining theme is clear: Iowa State's elite efficiency and perimeter precision versus TCU's rim protection and interior resistance. Iowa State enters on a 5-game winning streak. Baylor, Kansas State, Colorado, Oklahoma State, UCF, and 4 of those wins came by double digits. They've scored at least 84 points in 4 of the 5, including a 97-point eruption against Colorado and 95 against Kansas State. The offense is humming, the ball is moving, and the margins are widening. TCU has won 3 of its last 5, including a tight 84-82 win over Kansas State and a 97-90 win against BYU. But losses to Colorado and Houston exposed defensive inconsistencies, 87 and 79 points allowed in those games. The Frogs can score in bursts, yet their efficiency swings from night to night. The centerpiece duel is Momcilovic versus Punch. Momcilovic is surgical, 55% from the field, over 53% from deep, automatic at the line. He stretches defenses and punishes closeouts. Punch plays downhill and through contact, finishes at the rim, and anchors the paint defensively with over 2 blocks per game. One thrives on space and rhythm, the other on power and interior control. Lipsey's matchup with Harding may quietly decide tempo. Lipsey averages 5.4 assists and over 2 steals, shooting nearly 48% overall. Harding distributes at a higher rate but struggles with efficiency. If Lipsey controls pace and forces turnovers, Iowa State's transition game could break this open. Tactically, Iowa State's 51% shooting against TCU's 45.6% offense is the statistical swing point. The Cyclones score nearly 7 more points per game and hit threes at a far higher clip. TCU must win the glass and dominate the paint defensively to keep this close. Their 4.8 blocks per game suggest rim resistance, but Iowa State's spacing will test that discipline. Turnovers and transition will be critical. Iowa State averages more steals and plays with quicker ball movement. If the Cyclones push tempo off live ball turnovers, TCU will struggle to keep up. In the half court, expect TCU to pack the lane and challenge Iowa State's depth. The X factor could be three-point variance. If TCU approaches Iowa State's 40% mark from deep, the game tightens dramatically. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Iowa State winner. The Cyclones' shooting precision, balanced scoring, and defensive activity create too many clean looks and too much pressure. TCU's rim protection keeps it competitive early, but Iowa State's spacing and late-game composure separate it in the second half. In a conference race tightening at the top, the Cyclones make another clear statement. My second pick for this match is total over 146.5. Washington State Cougars versus Gonzaga Bulldogs. 11-15, Washington State walks into McCarthy Athletic Center facing 23-2, Gonzaga in a game that feels lopsided on paper and urgent in reality. Gonzaga sits near the top of the WCC race at 11-1 in conference play, just half a game off the lead. Washington State, 6-7 in league action, is fighting to stay relevant in the middle tier. The numbers underline the challenge. Gonzaga enters with a commanding 98.3% projected edge and the statistical profile of a conference favorite. For Washington State, this is more than a rivalry test. It's a chance to disrupt the balance of the league. For Gonzaga, it's about protecting dominance on their home floor and tightening their grip on the standings. Gonzaga plays like a contender. They average 87.6 points per game, shoot 51% from the field and 35.2% from three, and move the ball with purpose at 18.5 assists per night. They control the glass at 41.4 rebounds, force 8.8 steals, block 3.5 shots, and commit just 9.9 turnovers per game. Washington State scores 77.5 per game on 47.4% shooting, 37.3% from three, and 73.7% at the line. They grab 34.9 rebounds and hand out 13.6 assists while turning it over 13.1 times per contest. Defensively, they average 5.7 steals and 3.0 blocks. The Cougars can space the floor, but they surrender 87.6 points per game, the same number Gonzaga scores on average. That symmetry is the looming issue. Individually, Gonzaga is powered by Graham Ike's 19.7 points and 8.5 rebounds per game on 56.6% shooting. Braden Huff adds 17.8 points on 66.2% efficiency, giving the Bulldogs interior precision and balance. Braden Smith directs the offense with 4.2 assists, while Jalen Worley contributes 1.7 steals, anchoring perimeter pressure. Washington State counters with ace glass at 16.5 points per game, shooting 46% from the floor and 38.7% from deep. ND Okafor supplies 5.7 rebounds and 1.5 blocks as the defensive anchor, and Adria Rodriguez leads the team in assists at 3.2 while also pacing them in steals. The Cougars' identity leans on shot-making and effort, but they lack Gonzaga's depth and efficiency. The defining theme is clear. Gonzaga's elite offensive efficiency versus Washington State's vulnerable defense. If the Bulldogs dictate tempo and establish paint control, the math becomes overwhelming. Recent form reinforces the contrast. Washington State has alternated results, dropping games to Santa Clara and Oregon State before beating Portland and Pepperdine, with a signature road win at San Francisco mixed in. They've scored, but defensive lapses have led to 90-plus points allowed in key losses. Gonzaga has been steadier, 4 wins in their last 5, including dominant performances against Oregon State and Pepperdine. Even in a narrow loss to Portland, they shot efficiently. Their recent games show a team tightening details, cleaner rotations, sharper ball movement, consistent rebounding margins. The centerpiece duel is Ace Glass against Graham Ike. Glass operates from the perimeter, rhythm pull-ups, confident threes, 87.6% at the line, thriving in space. Ike lives on the block and in mid-post action, carving angles, finishing through contact, and punishing single coverage. Glass needs tempo and shot volume. Ike needs touches and patience. One stretches the defense, the other collapses it. If Huff joins Ike in establishing inside leverage, Washington State will be forced to overhelp, opening kick-out threes and cutting lanes. Conversely, if Glass and Rodriguez combine for early perimeter rhythm and protect the ball, the Cougars can keep Gonzaga in a half-court chess match rather than a transition sprint. Tactically, Gonzaga holds the structural edge. They rebound better, assist more, shoot more efficiently, and protect the ball. Their 41.4 rebounds per game versus Washington State's 34.9 could tilt second-chance points decisively. The Bulldogs' low turnover rate stabilizes late-game possessions, and their balanced scoring makes them harder to scheme against. Washington State's X-factor is perimeter efficiency. At 37.3% from three, they can generate runs. If they win the turnover margin and convert from deep above their average, pressure shifts. But if Gonzaga keeps the paint secured and forces contested jumpers, the Cougars' offense will stall. Expect Gonzaga to establish the interior early, build a double-digit cushion by leveraging rebounding and ball movement, and force Washington State into rushed perimeter looks. The Cougars will answer in spurts, but sustained defensive stops will be difficult. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Gonzaga winner. The difference will be efficiency and control. Gonzaga's composure, balance, and paint dominance asserting itself over 40 minutes. My second pick for this match is total over 155.5.